My esteemed M, it has been far too long since last we spoke, and I don't know how to begin to tell you all that has transpired here. Our young friend grows seemingly every day. I want you to know that she's thriving, and that the two of us are eternally in your debt for that fact. We have both had our share of personal challenges since that fateful day when we parted company, but we have never looked back. She will live a full and free life, and with any luck, before she reaches our advanced age, she will know the free Numeria you and I dreamed of all those years ago. I do not know how far the news has carried, but surely you have some inkling of the momentous events of these last 2 months. There has been a precipitous shift in sentiment in the countryside here, as well as towns in the north and far to the west. I dare say there are whispers of this shift amongst the disparate clans of the plains as well. Of course, the cities lag behind for obvious reasons, but the momentum is clear. Our enemy may suspect that their hold on this land is tenuous at best, but I do not think they realize how many of the people are willing to stand against them when the time comes. They will be stretched far too thin, and they will have no choice but to snap. I'm getting ahead of myself, Em. Of late, I have allowed myself a certain degree of optimism after years of self-denial, but I think it is with good reason. I've made some new friends, and they have given me cause to hope. Of course, I daren't record any of the details in textual form lest they be intercepted, but I think you may have heard the rumors already. Rest assured, they are stronger even than the people are saying. They are capable of great things. One day, I think you will meet them, and that will likely be the beginning of the end of our troubles. Forever grateful, KB. This is Pot Against the Machine.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Welcome back to Pot Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play that's the size and shape of a child, but with none of that pesky skin. I'm your host, and here's everybody.
Aw, skin, always holding us back.
Oof. Epidermis, am I right?
You are not wrong, friend.
Who needs it?
Hello.
Hey.
We all have it.
Keep the skin on your child. This podcast recommends it.
The more you know.
The only podcast in favor of kids.
Keeping all children in possession of their
Fully
skin.
skinned.
The only anti-flaying podcast.
Or at least the only openly anti-flaying.
Some don't have the courage.
Have you
Others,
ever heard your other favorite podcast come out against skinning your children?
Cowards all.
This bodes well for this.
Yeah. Last one was a sad app, and this one's coming in hot.
Let's see. Previously on the podcast, the party recovered from their day of shipmind and rot grubs and various horrors inside the giant decomposing beast. First, they physically recovered by healing the rest of the way up, and then they took some time to do some self-care, and they did some gardening with Pater. And they had a pleasant day doing kind of normal work. Well, as normal as it gets in the Scar of the Spider. There was some revelations about Alwyn's life back with the colony. There were some revelations regarding Brixby's upbringing, and then following a quick trip into his cave for some seeds, some revelations about just what's going on in Pater's head. Eventually, he opened up a bit, talking about how he was here before the butchers, as he calls them, came, and he was trying to fix the land, and they came and they made the horrors of this place so much worse than they ever were before. And when he was foolish enough to go and try to see what they were, one of them, that he calls the Flayer, made him into a toy. And he essentially implored the party to get rid of this infection that is destroying the land, and I think there was a little bit of an undercurrent of maybe get me some revenge in there. The party agreed, and then everybody got to sleep over a rainy night in the Scar of the Spider, after which dawn came, and we did our prep and ate some gross paste, and then tried to head for the Dominion cave covered in stinky Dominion juice, only to spot, as they passed the decomposing dropship, the figure of a strange skinless child with glowing red eyes. It definitely made some eye contact, some disturbing eye contact perhaps, before taking off in the opposite direction on all fours. The party debated a bit, then decided to follow it at a safe distance, and that's where we are now, following this strange child through the valley.
As one does.
As one does.
I mean, when you see a kid in a valley, what are you going to do? Not follow him?
Come on. So I think Zach had asked, what's the kid doing? Is he just running on all fours? You went to bed before you could answer.
That's true. Now that I'm awake again, the kid is still loping along on all fours, heading basically directly towards the far wall of the valley, which it's not a short walk, but it's covering a lot of ground. It is pretty steadily running out of real estate, though. It's basically running towards a sheer 200-foot-high cliff face.
Can we wait for it to get to the cliff face and see what it does? Because if it goes vertical, I'm out.
We should slow down, regardless. Brixby kind of waves his hands on his disc. Best it's trapped, worse it's running us towards something. Unless Levi has like a thirst for the skinless child and will not listen to me.
No, Tarazi can convince Levi to let it go. He wasn't drooling for him or anything.
You don't have enough Pokemon gym badges to listen to Levi. No, for Levi to listen to you.
Man, after all this time, he was just playing along.
Shouldn't have given him that goop stone.
I want to see Tarazi with Brock hair now.
So, your pursuit of this creature, steadily more distant, leads to the end of the valley, to the 200-foot-tall rock wall that's dotted with ledges where dead and dying vegetation spilled down the length of the thing in a churning mass much thicker than the rest of the valley. Here the creature stops just short of the wall itself, in a place where a twisted mass of dead, dry gray vines that cascade all the way down from the top have hidden the rock of the wall from view entirely. This skinless child pauses for a second there to look back, as if making sure that you're following, and then it pushes the dry, brittle vines off to the side, revealing an opening beyond. It only opens it a little bit, just enough to slip inside and lets go of the vines, which allows the opening to sort of swing back shut as if it was never there at all. But now that you've seen it, the entryway is obvious. The vines have been cut neatly in a line running up from the ground to about 15 feet in the air.
How far back are we from this?
Maybe 150 feet.
If we just stand there for a couple minutes, does the kid come back out?
The kid does not.
Well, we can be guaranteed that if we go through there, something will know we're coming, and it will be a fight the whole way. We can try going in the front of the cave. Maybe whatever's in there doesn't know that we're here. The only argument I could make is that this can't hold a substantial amount of things behind it theoretically, because it's a very small entrance. I mean, I know it could lead into a larger cave, and it could be a room full of things that immediately kill us. But I almost get the perception that even if it knows that we're here, we might be fighting less than going through the front door immediately. I defer to everyone else's judgment, though. I only play a smart rat.
Bricks, can you invisible one of us?
Sure can invisible myself. Or I could invisible one of y'all, but, let's see. This is, for all of my knowledges, I don't put a ton into stealth, so I only have a plus 11. That's before being invisible, which obviously affords you more. Is anybody else a better scout than I? Perhaps a stealthy snake?
I've got a -2. So, no.
With the new armor penalty, I'm also a plus 11. A little hardier to be taking a face punch, though.
That's true. It's not something you, like, build up a callus for. If he did have a face callus, it would make it a little bit easier, but, like...
Okay, face callus.
I'm a +6, so that's better than me.
I mean... If Tarazi, if you would like to scout, I can make you invisible.
I don't know. I mean, I'm willing. Let me make that clear, but it seemed as though this creature was looking to make sure we were following. I don't think there's much of an element of surprise we can hope for at this point.
Maybe we should just all go in.
I think there's a possibility we can even the playing field. If someone can successfully get in there without alerting them, back out, long enough to effectively tell us what's happening. I mean, I hear you, big stuff. We've succeeded against a lot of formidable odds by facing them head on. And I'm willing, because I feel like we're strong enough to handle anything. But if you did want to take a look, or I could take a look, I can make myself real small and invisible and take a look. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it helps that I could reduce myself. I could fly. I mean, I can dimension door, so I can theoretically get away quicker. But you could also definitely bear the wrath of someone's ire longer. So it's really up to you. I just don't want to be like, I made you invisible, go into a cave, because Isaac, the player, couldn't live with that guilt.
I know I suggested it, or at least started to, but I just don't think that any of us should go in alone. That bad things happen when people do things alone.
Oh, and did we sell that bag? Your bag. The, like, fun bag.
The bag of tricks?
Yeah.
No, he still has it.
Yes.
Do you want to throw an animal in there instead?
Yes.
Toss an animal in there.
I mean, when you say it out loud, it doesn't feel like a very 23 int thing to say. But I mean,
It's like we could have one of our fighters go invisible and sneak him in with all his weaponry and intelligence. Or we could just huck a badger in there and see what happens.
I mean, it's you can just destabilize your GM's thought about what would be the strategy they would expect the party to take. I mean, we don't have to make that unilateral decision. That was kind of a joke, but I mean, obviously, like,
I want to do it.
If you want to do that, I got the table.
Oh, you
Put
have
the badger
table.
in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, russet bag of tricks.
Brix is like smart, but he's not like battle tactics smart, right? And that's something that he would defer to like Kira and Tarazi on the nature of all that is martial. So, I mean, that is why I say that, but I say that in jest. I don't know if that is like, because I mean, Jarrell brings up a good point. Like, we could potentially have a fighter in an advantageous position, invisible inside of the room, before we begin our assault, which would be kind of a fun advantage, or many of us in the room invisible, right? Or there's something that sits right on the other side of that door and kills you, whether you're invisible or not, because see invisibility and true seeing, pressure plates, the ability to detect traps,
We
etc.
stink to high heaven like a Nathalgu.
You do.
Right.
You do smell of Dominion, and Kira is constantly emitting the sound of a running chainsaw.
That's got to add to the -2 stealth.
As long as I'm not going in there, weapon in hand. Well, I mean, I have weapon in hand, but as long as I'm not going in there, like, screaming, I'll kill you, if I do get spotted. this kid might just be like, yo, I see you. I was just trying to give you this narrowcam. So let's go. Let's make Invisible Snake. And Drowsy can sneak in there. He successfully scouted Hairsec, so there is a precedent to me being able to roll a dice when invisible.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, to be fair, that's why I originally thought of you. Because, I love to scout, but I also fill a lot of different roles in the party. And everyone else does too, but I just, it's not the Brivy show. He pulls out the eyelash with the gum arabic and sticks it onto the side of Tarazi's tunic, making them invisible.
And invisible in slightly more restrictive armor than he's used to, but still feeling pretty stealthy. Tarazi will slowly, carefully move those vines to try and gain entrance into this cave.
The vines are a little bit harder to move than they look. Takes a little bit of strength to it, but Tarazi's a strapping lad. I'm going to try something in Foundry that I've never tried before and see if I can move just Jeff to a different map.
Ooh.
Did it work? I think it worked. Did it work?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sky metal.
For Jeff.
So, stepping through the wall of vine, Tarazi finds himself also passing through a stone arch 15 feet high, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet deep before it opens up into the outside once more. Unlike every other niche in this seemingly never-ending valley, this is not a cave at all, but a hidden mini-valley that stretches almost 300 feet long and 200 feet wide at its widest points, devoid of plant and animal life that you can see. This place instead holds numerous hints of a settlement from ages past, an aging but worn path that leads to squat circular huts made of bent and rotting wooden beams and disintegrating leather roofs. On the north side of the valley, you can see a crumbling stone balcony 15 feet in the air, built into the face of the cliff and supported by worked stone columns. All of these features, though pale in comparison to the central structure that dominates the space, standing directly in front of you behind the huts, facing the entrance to the valley like a challenge, is an ancient step-stone pyramid, fully 50 feet tall, with a wide staircase carved into the bulk of the nearest side. Even from this distance you can see a stained stone altar on a platform near the top, behind which stands a door. There's no sign of a skinless child.
That's okay. I can roll survival. Oh yeah, natural 17. We're looking at a 27 dress number. Do I see tracks leading in here? It doesn't seem like it's a high traffic area, so hopefully loping quadrupedal skinless child tracks are visible.
You see numerous sets of tracks. There's definitely been more traffic here than one would expect, but the quadrupedal tracks that I'm sure Tarazi had plenty of time to inspect on the way in, since you followed this thing for a good half mile, seem to lead off towards that temple pyramid, and then they hang a left and head into the kind of caves underneath the balcony.
And I realized too, with 2 track, that would be a 32, because they got a +5. So yeah, seeing that's where they head, the direction they had, Tarazi will not be heading up the stone steps alone, but he will kind of follow after the tracks of the child creature, moving along at half speed to get that full invis bone.
Okay, what is the stealth?
So being invisible is what, a +40 unless you're moving?
I think it's a +20 when you're moving, and then a +40. Let me pull.
Yeah, so a +20 when you're moving and +40 when you're still.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess even at half speed, then he's like at a +31 moving along. So I'll roll that for you. 3 off the dice going in the dice jail. It's still a 34.
Okay, so so far, Tarazi is able to kind of creep along through this space without anything bothering him.
He's going to make a perception before he gets too much closer to where these tracks are leading, just to make sure there's not any, tripwires or something like that. That's a 34.
In the hut directly south of where Tarazi is now that he's gone a little bit more than halfway up to the base of the temple, there is a figure waiting inside the hut. You can see it through the broken wall. It's a lean humanoid figure adorned with barbed chains and with deathly pale flesh that is etched with jagged scars. It does not seem to notice the invisible Tarazi, though.
Dope. Definitely care for that strongly. Ignoring that hot mess, because you said it looked like the child went off towards the left. That's kind of the way the Tarazi will slowly follow.
And over here, a shelter has been sort of carved out of the wall of the valley, with the removed rocks seemingly repurposed to build the columns that are holding up the balcony up above. And Tarazi can see, as he's approaching it, that there is like a carved spiral staircase that's totally collapsed from where he's standing. But I guess, actually, now that you point on Foundry, you can actually see the other spiral staircase as well, that is slightly farther away, which appears to still be usable. The collapsed one is over on the left side of the cave there.
Okay. He will kind of walk up and peer in towards the collapsed staircase, see if there's any sign of child.
No sign of life, but it does look like the child passed through here and up the stairs.
Okay. We'll continue towards the staircase that appears to still be good, and your boy's not going to just climb up some stairs. We're going to check that structural integrity first. That is a 33 perception. Does it look like the stairs are trapped or in good condition?
No signs of traps, and they seem like they're solid enough that they can hold your weight.
Okay. He's not planning to spend too much time beyond this, but he does want to sneak up those stairs, if for no other reason than to get a better view of below.
Why don't you make me another stealth check to cover climbing the stairs there?
That's a 39.
Pretty solid. You climb up the stairs into the niche kind of carved into the wall of the mountain, 15 feet up above, onto a platform that appears to be what remains of like an ancient viewing platform, a place that would have provided a bird's eye view of the little village below and a prime perspective on whatever happens at the top of that pyramid. You do see, just like barely peeking around the corner, there's a skinless kid over there watching the staircase as if it's waiting.
Yeah, it can keep waiting. I feel pretty good about the exploration so far alone and don't want to engage without the rest of the party. So, do you want another stealth to climb back down the stairs?
Let's do another stealth for escape here.
Hey, there's a double digits on there. That's a 42.
This is a very sneaky, invisible snake. You managed to climb down without anything chasing you.
Yeah, his sense motive is total trash, but it does feel profession soldier-wise like, there's probably maybe more of a trap, like Brixby was saying, than an invitation to hot cocoa.
I just remembered I could do the little invisible token thing.
Love that for us.
I was hoping you were going to say, I just remembered there was hot cocoa. And then we wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, you did notice that the kid up on the balcony was wearing an Orange Julius hat.
Oh, for the love.
Oh, why you gotta be like that?
So maybe he's like a trainee or something.
No, I'm confident behind the door in this ziggurat is just a closet with a Brother label printer that says Neurocam on a shelf, and then there's Neurocam all dusty just sitting there. If found, please return to Cassandra. Yeah. Tarazi would sneak all the way back out to the vines and emerge to let the party know what he found. So, I saw the child creature, and it definitely seems to be waiting. It's not just a little cave back there. It opens up quite a bit to a whole little sub-valley. And used to be a settlement of some kind. There's a scary, chain-covered Bluemin Group dropout that looks rather violent and was waiting in the southernmost structure. And then there's this whole, like, ziggurat with a door and an altar and a couple... there's a balcony that's just into the cliff wall, a great viewing area, probably lovely, in the spring. But one of the staircases totally collapsed, can't use it. The other one, it worked, but that's where the definitely not normal child, TM, is waiting. No hot cocoa.
Commend your bravery and your stealth. But I wonder, is the trap that we follow the child and that the other one kind of gets us from behind? Is it a completely separate endeavor and that they're not too related? But I think that what is clear is that they know we're coming, but they don't know we know that they know. You know?
Yes.
So we have to use that to our advantage. And I am specifically looking at you, Alowin, for, similar to me, potentially long-range magical assault against one or both, or some advantageous change in the environment. Or even, I have enough sneaky-deaky here to make most of us invisible again. At least, the right person at the right time. And my darling marshals, you could be the ones invisible again, if needed, to perhaps sneak up while these things are happening. I mean, I'm interested because I defer to both you, big stuff, who has seen themselves through more blood, more flesh than I can imagine, and you, Tarazi, who have fought many battles before joining us, and admirably have fought since about what is right, but it seems we only have one advantage. There's only one way to press it.
I'm not very good at sneaking, but I can go in there if you want.
I can maybe help Kira with her sneaking. You and I would just have to stay a little ways away from her. And he can cast silence on Kira, which would make her armor and the chainsaw and everything. It's just, the problem is it emanates out a certain number of feet, so we wouldn't be able to cast spells if we were near her.
Yo, that is so tight. Are you kidding me? That is like so brilliant. I can't believe we haven't thought about potentially making Kira a silence bomb in that way, or asking Kira to willingly become a silence bomb in that way. Apologies for the, but like, you don't cast spells. You get blur by an SLA. Neither, like, Tarazi can generally cast lead blades ahead of time, but doesn't seem to cast many spells. And When we get the headband for Levi, I am sure that he will be a prodigious spellcaster, but in the interim, like, I mean, I don't know, like, we can cut this out if this is a little too much, like, talking the meta, but, like, Kira could run in there, and that means if that they can't call for help, I mean, that would be predicated on what, like, storming the child, the one in the hut. I mean, does that even feel like a good approach to either of you?
Can we storm the child and then talk to it? But not tell it where we are? Maybe we can do some sort of... What's that thing of where you throw your voice? Like
ventriloquism with the child.
Not exactly.
So we would have to sneak by the hut to engage. Is that something we could do based off of your description?
Well, that seems possible. I had the thought of, I can always turn Levi into a statue, and then that's one fewer target needed to make invisible if we wanted to go the sneaky route. It seemed, at least at first glance, and I don't have the knowledge to really dig in, but the whole barbed chain covered in scars situation makes me suspect that the hut is a higher danger, and perhaps the child is waiting to alert the hut. I don't know for sure, but it may be wise to engage the blue man before the child. At least we know up there where the child is, if they're still there now. There's not many places it could go without being noticed, but there's multiple huts this thing could potentially hide in if we pass it by and try to go up the stairs.
Was the child hiding, or was it just waiting?
It seemed to just be waiting.
Yeah, it's weird that it didn't seem to, like, alert anybody when it went in.
That we know of.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I guess I could have done it before Tarathi got there. Yeah.
The blue man guy is also watching out.
Yeah, I mean, you did say that you waited for it to come back out for a little bit, so it's definitely had some time in there.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost feel like if one of them is concealed inside a hut, that gives us more opportunity to attack it than the other one. And I also kind of like the idea of facing on what appears to be the clearest danger in that area. If we were, theoretically, to take on the hut, we could silence someone. We could invisible a couple folks. I have magics that would last about as long as the silence, that can invisible people as well as the kind of more powerful magics I used on you or I used for myself. Again, I'd like a little bit more input. Do you think we should maybe hit the hut from a distance with range, or maybe have marshals close in and then we offer support from a distance?
I like hitting stuff from close up and not a distance.
All right.
So long as we don't attempt any food-based distractions, because I'm confident that no one out-pizzas the hut.
Thank you for figuring out a way to work that phrase in, because I have been thinking and failing for a while.
Toiling.
On a more serious note, though, it could certainly be useful to... I wouldn't want to waste a fireball on a hut, but I have conflicting thoughts, right? Because this is not our ultimate goal. If we start spending our highest resources before we even get to the Dominion, then is that just another day of farming? Not that it wasn't, enjoyable, but I don't know the right balance for your resources. Like Kira, I'm inclined to just point and smash.
Dropping a fireball on a hood, on an unwilling enemy sounds appealing, and half of the level of my highest resource. But it's fair. We should conserve our resources. We don't know what's in front of us. So, if it's all the same, the plan then would be we go in, we get close to the hood, we make the three of you invisible, and one of you silence, and then you begin the assault, and because it's almost like the idea of an opening salvo of a fireball to explode the hut, if they're still in it, that is, would be pretty sick, because then they'd have to kind of run towards us and engage us. But, I mean, if it's also like you can run in the hut and just start maxing on this person, then, I mean, maybe that's a better idea.
Okay, so before we go further, and probably when Brix casts invisibility, I'll cast Fly on Azuma, and I'll wait until we're, as close as we think we can be without getting detected before I cast Silence, just because it lasts for so much shorter.
All right. Right this way. And he'll kind of muscle the vines as quietly as he can to give entrance to this abandoned settlement.
Kira whispers, "Sneak buddies," and high-fives his back. So just hits him, I guess. Quietly.
Well, now you can all see this miniature valley with the little village inside that Tarazi described. You see these 4 crumbling huts in front of you, with Tarazi has pointed out this one down here is where Chainman is hanging out. And of course you can see that pyramid.
Alright. Well, I don't know what Vanish uses. Vanish doesn't even have a material component. So, Gum Arabic for, I don't know, one of them. And then the other 2 just got verbal somatic.
As you're creeping in, why don't we get some stealthy doodles from the invisible squad?
32.
Looking at a 45 for Levi with a natural 19 and a 38 for Tarazi.
Alright, well, you feel like you are able to approach without being seen, and you can see Cheney Doodle Guy right where Tarazi left him.
So, should we roll for initiative or just kind of go in there and see what happens?
Probably roll for initiative, but I do believe a surprise round is in order. Alright, how about Kira?
Is this initiative or a surprise attack?
Initiative first.
Ooh, not great. That's a 17 total.
Alright. And how about Snake Squad?
Oh, that's a natural 1, my man. For a hot 4.
Pretty snazzy. By snazzy, I mean not very fast. How about Brixby?
Just rolled a 7 for a 15.
And Alwyn.
Alwyn rolled a 4 for an 11.
Just do Isuma's initiative, and we will begin combat with Kira's surprise round.
Can I reach blue guy from here? Oh, there's a second. There's lots of blue guys.
Yeah, it looks like where you're standing.
Which blue guy are we attacking?
Oh no, I don't like that question.
Where Kira is standing right at the entrance to the blue guy hut, she can see that there are 2 blue guys in this hut. In addition, there are 2 blue guys who were hidden inside the hut to the west of this one. They were totally obscured until she got far enough south.
All right, well, I guess I'm going for blue guy number question marks. Who's just inside, the one I'm standing next to.
All right.
Which is not helpful for anyone but you, Sam.
I can see that one.
And I'm going to hit it with a chainsaw. Yep, that's another 10 for a... Why can't I find it? 32 to hit.
32 will hit.
34 points of damage.
It doesn't all seem to go through.
It never does.
Now it is time for Levi and Tarazi, who are invisible.
So when you say surprise round, this is the legit one action thing?
Yeah.
Okay. But I could still single action charge in a surprise round, so might as well get up in this guy's biz nizzle and just try and cleave him in two with a null blade. I'll just go with a crit. Let's do that. Not a crit, but is a 32.
32 will hit the Bluemin.
Awful damage, but 18. Now, if it's a construct, I'll throw that Bane on there.
It's not a construct.
Okay.
It doesn't all seem to go through, but some of it does.
Okay. Levi will do the same with his reach, and we'll just see if we can't put some mad hurt on this thing. Oh yeah, that's a 32 also.
That will also hit this poor Bluemin.
Max on the magic mouth, 20 points of chompy dew, and of course, an attempt a surprise grab.
It was definitely surprised by that.
Hate a surprise grab.
That is a dirty 30 against its combat maneuver defense.
It is grabbed.
Yes! Alright, that's Snake Surprise.
Well, Snake Surprise is a pretty good surprise. Alright, so that brings us to the top of round one, during which I think Asuma is going to have to double move just in order to be able to see anybody. So, Asuma double moves, which brings us to a Bluemin. And this Bluemin, I think, is going to take a 5-foot step forward, and it's going to start lashing out with chains at the formerly invisible Tarazi and Kira. We'll start with Tarazi with a chain. How does a 28 chain slap sound?
Regular AC?
Regular AC.
It was insufficient.
Well, that I don't.
Sounds laughable,
I
Sam.
don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's gonna try to slap you again and get worse. So it's gonna start slapping Kira instead. But that's only a 14. So the final slap of the fourth chain is only a 19.
That would do it if I wasn't wearing armor.
You shouldn't wear armor.
But I am
You're
now.
allergic to armor, I think, it said it on your character sheet.
I don't think that's true.
It said it on your character sheet. So,
Honestly, it probably says a lot of things on my character sheet, so who am I to say?
so I think that one's finished. The next one is going to be a Bluemin from the other group is going to step out, and it's going to look directly at Kira. And his face, his weird blue face, changes as she looks at him, and it's suddenly Parda's face. I need a will save.
Oh, no. All right, Will. Oh, I forgot to rage, you guys. Never don't rage.
No, that's not a sonic or language-based spell, correct?
It is not sonic or language based.
Okay, darn. I was going to say if it was, she'd be immune to it.
It's face based.
Face-based. That is going to be a 6. Nope. Wait for it. A 13, Sam? 13?
So, seeing this thing make its face look like Parda's face, I think Kira is, in this moment, shaken. And she is shaken for the next 3 rounds.
Oh man, that's so many rounds.
using all of the status indicators that Foundry has. And Kira, you are up. There is a grappled chainman in front of you. There's another chainman 10 feet away who did a little bit of a slappy do. You're a little bit freaked out because there's a chainman 20 feet away who's wearing Parda's face.
Yeah, don't like that. Does she not like it enough to break away and go fight him? She sure does. I will take the attack of, dipping out on this fight.
There will be 2 of them.
Oh, right.
Because there's 2.
Well, this is
2
fine.
chainmans.
Also, I'm gonna rage.
Okay, the first slap is a 14. Or not a 14, a 24.
Yeah. Dang
Blur.
it. Hang on. Actually, that might... Yes. Oh, with this armor, I'm fine. 24 does not hit.
Wow. That's a big upgrade
I
when you
know.
actually wear your armor.
It so is.
And then the second slap is only a 2 on the die, so it's not going to hit.
So let's see. We're going to... I'm taking a penalty here. So Kira's going to charge this Parda guy with just this guttural scream. She's almost crying, but also scared. And go for the chainsaw attack. Nice. That's a 16 on the die plus a 20. Oh, right, a 20. Just 36 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
8, 10, 35 points of damage that I assume don't all go
They
through.
sure don't. That's still a lot.
Okay, that's my turn.
All right, that brings us to the cranky chainman. He's gonna walk up and, he sees the situation developing here. He sees that things aren't going fantastically for the chainmans, but he's just gonna step forward and slap a chain at Kira. Because she's in his face, and he's gonna miss because Kira wearing armor is, harder to hit, which is unreasonable,
Invincible.
basically untouchable. Which brings us to Brixby.
Brixby's going to have an exciting round in the vein of Azuma and double move to be able to see his opponents. Oh, there's so many of them. Yep, that's it.
All right, and Alwyn.
Alwyn, breaking with tradition and doing something totally new and unique, is going to double move to get close enough to see the other combatants. Is Azuma still on the ground?
I guess she's actually up in the air, so
Okay.
her space is fair game.
All right, then he will move over 55 feet to be directly underneath Azuma and kind of catty corner to Brixby. And that will be his turn.
All right, and that brings us to the spacey one of these chainmans. And you do notice Tarazi and Levi, as you're up in his face, that his wounds start to knit themselves back together as he is dangling there. He is grappled. I think he's just gonna go chain crazy and just try to do some slaps on the big old snake that's holding him. And that's throwing the dice where I can't see it. How about a 28?
No, even with the grappled condition, unfortunately.
It's going to be very hard for them to do any hitting at all in the snake squad. The next one misses. The next one misses. And the fourth one, how about a 29?
Oh, so close, Sam. You're looking for a grappled AC of 30 on Levi.
So the spacey chainman does not succeed in slapping its torturer. And the snake squad's up.
Okay. Levi is going to maintain that grapple and do the constrict I forgot to do last turn. Ooh, max on the constrict. So it's only 13, so probably not a lot of it goes through, but still.
Well, some of it does.
He's just going to hold him right there for Tarazi to full attack with the null blade. Strike him with the null blade 3 times. So 2 of those 3 definitely miss. But the first one is a 31.
31 will definitely hit. You sure those other ones definitely miss when this thing's grappled?
They were both 3s on the die. So we're looking at a 14 and a 9.
I should have trusted you.
I was trying to save myself the embarrassment, but that's cool. 23 points of damage with that. No qual. +2 null blade. You sure it doesn't all go through?
Doesn't all go through. It still is enough to take it down.
Ooh. Okay. It won't keep it down, though. I've learned that. Tarazi hasn't. So he's thinking like, yes, got one! But no one can hear him because of the silence aura. So he just seems excited for those who can see him. And that is the end of the Snake Squad's turn.
You know who else is excited is the excited Asuma. She's gonna shoot directly at the one in front of Kira. And she's starting with her old trusty ice rifle because it's her old trusty. She does get a natural 20. Unfortunately, that was a bad time for her to learn that this thing is immune to cold damage, so she crits it and nothing happens. But she's got lots more shots with other weapons. So she's going to switch to the laser rifle, or the laser pistol rather, and she will hit. It doesn't all go through, but it's still a nice 10 damage on... Which one is this? And it doesn't all go through, I already said. Next shot will also hit. A little more damage. Next one might actually miss. It does. And the final one is... What's her last bonus? Hits exactly. Nice. So she does a non-trivial chunk to the welcoming chainman. And that brings us back around to the one that doesn't have an adjective for some reason. It is going to, seeing that it is hard to hit the snakemans, it stares at Tarazi and rearranges its face into the face of Captain Kalkan. I need a will save.
Sounds mind-affecting.
It is mind-affecting.
Dope. I will need every bonus I can get. Natural 19. Only comes out to a 30-30, but I still feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, Tarazi is able to fight through this disorienting sensation and see this creature for what it really is. Definitely not his dead friend.
It's like the only time this Miami dice from Dice Envy has actually rolled high when I needed it to.
That'll bring us over to the one that Kira has been fighting with. It does repair itself slightly. It's going to take a 5-foot step back just because it likes to have some space between itself and the person that it's slapping with chains. And it's going to slap Kira with chains 4 times.
Chain slap.
First one's going to miss. Second one is not going to miss. That's a 33.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're going to do the blur. 38 on the blur. That is 8 chain damage. Finally landing a hit. Big time stuff. And the final chain is not going to hit. But, they did damage.
Armor's great. They did do damage.
They made you feel bad and then they made you hurt. So they're winning in their hearts. And you're up.
Good. Great. I'm going to take a 5-foot step forward, closer to this chain guy with my friend's face, and hit him 4 times with a chainsaw. Or, attempt to.
It's mean.
Oh, first one's a natural 1, so never mind. Second is a 28. Yeah, 28.
28 hits.
Okay. Third one is just a 20.
20 will not hit.
And the last one is 11. So 1 hit. Dang.
Just the one.
What's the point even? 8, 25, 33. 33 points of damage.
And it goes down, even though that doesn't all go through.
It's my turn.
All right, well, that brings us to your cranky friend who's just standing right there, just watched you kill its buddy. Guess what it's gonna do?
Retreat?
So many chains. So many chains. You'll never break the chain. 27 to hit.
I think so, yes.
All right, 47 on the blur. 8 damage again. These things are really, really strong for level 12 party. Misses on chain 2. Cracked die. How about a 25 to hit?
25 will not hit.
Well, the final chain will also miss. All right, Rosie Brixby, it's time, I think, to drop that fireball on your friends.
I think my friends have it in hand right now. Brixby, on his turn, would like to roll a knowledge against what we're fighting.
That'd be a knowledge, not knowledge chains, though that would be appropriate. Knowledge planes. All I say is chains now.
Okay, that is a 27.
With a 27, you know that these are Evangelist Velstrax, otherwise known as Chitons, often classified among the ranks of the Infernal and called Chain Devils by the uninitiated. The sadomasochistic Velstrax are not true devils. Many suggest that they are natives to Hell who existed there before the advent of devilkind, while others hypothesize that they were later brought to the plane by some sadistic power. Regardless of their origins, they roam the plains and they cause and receive suffering, seeking pain through violent abductions and sadistic debauches. You know, just normal stuff. You do get 2 questions on these wonderful friends.
What overcomes their damage reduction?
That would be silver or good.
Not good. Not good at all. Okie dokie, folkies. Is there anything else anyone is interested in? It doesn't really seem like they have a whole lot in the way of other special defenses that we've run into thus far, except for being immune to cold. So I'm inclined to ask about special attacks.
Would we... And I'm not usually the person who does this, so feel free to ignore me, but would we... Do we already know what not overcomes damage reduction, but like makes them stop regenning?
Oh, you're right, because those are 2 different things. That's actually an excellent question, because I wasn't even really thinking about it. So what does stop their regeneration?
Although that is a different question, it has the same answer. Good weapons or spells, or silver weapons.
That was an excellent question, as Sky Metal.
Yay.
So that said, I don't really feel like we have good or silver items, or the ability to do either.
Would the dumb little miniature silver shovel that I had to buy to be able to cast my pit spells because this game is weird count? Because it's not a weapon, and I assume it's like the size of a spoon. But it is, by the rules of the game, silver.
You could use it as an improvised weapon just to negate the stuff, even if it's not going to do much damage.
Yeah, so like once we have them like in the negatives, we can just like smack them on the head with his like action figure size spoon that he has for his spell component.
Gouge out their eyes.
Because I had to give real gold for that dumb thing.
Alan's a big fan of the sitcom Silver Spoons.
Deep cut. All right, so Brix is going to ready an action to cast a spell if it looks like the tide of the battle is turning towards against us. I mean, because it kind of looks like his friends have it in hand. So, and by that, if I need to give a specific condition, that means one of my allies receiving an appreciable amount of damage in one round, or something else showing up.
All right. Well, uncertain Alwyn, your in the protective shadow of the flying Kasatha, what would you like to do?
I think Alwyn, on seeing these guys, is gonna get like flashbacks to Nixariel, because she was a very similar, if not identical, type of creature, and I think that's gonna make him really upset. So he's gonna look at this one here that's down just below the one that Tarazi took out, and he's gonna try to smash it. He is gonna hit it with a bone shake, or a bone shatter, excuse me. So that is a fortitude save.
Spell resistance?
I believe it does have SR. Yes, it does. So I have a plus 13 on that roll. That is a 16 on the dice. That is a 29 for SR.
That overcomes its SR. That is an unnatural 20 on the fortitude save.
That is a fail. So that'll be full damage. DC
Nice.
21 for Bone Shatter. So that is 1d6 per caster level with a max of 15. So that's going to be the full 11.
It's poor bones.
It's going to do that. And the roller set is 36 points of damage. And it is exhausted for 1 minute per level. So 11 minutes is exhausted.
Oh, man. So many conditions on the screen right now. It's wild.
And that would be his turn. He's not going to move from where he is.
All right. The spacey chainman lying on the ground, dead, clearly, heals a little bit, which brings up Snake Squad. Levi is no longer grappled,
Yay, thank you.
unless he wants to keep the corpse grappled.
Pass. Tarazi is going to take a 5-foot step down and smack him with a sword. Ooh, we're looking at a critical threat. That's a 34.
That'll hit. Roll to confirm.
And a nat 20 on the confirmation.
Sounds confirmed. I believe that means there's going to be an extra hit, too.
Oh ho, and does, if it's still alive. That is 45.
45 damage
Yeah,
on the exhausted.
affirmative.
All right, it's not down, but it's like, it's right next to down, is what I would call it.
Okay, then a 34 on the shield bash to hit.
That will hit.
Pretty good. 22 on the shield bash.
And down it goes.
I was going to bull rush it for free.
You could bull rush the dead body if you want.
Tempting. Levi, with his 40 feet of movement, is going to move on up, staying 10 feet away. Might still end up provoking. I'm not sure about the chainman reach.
Did he pass through 10 feet away from it and keep going?
He's stayed no closer than 10 feet.
Well, 10 feet is... probably gets a slap as you go by, but it doesn't hit anyways.
Okay. Well, then this bloomin' onion is about to get dunked on. With a 28.
Yep.
17 points of damage.
Alright.
Ooh, only a 25 to grapple.
25 will still grapple.
Then enjoy your max constrict damage that I remembered to roll this time, which is a numerical value equal to 13. And yay, that'll do it for Snake Squad. One of our better turns that we've had in a while. And that'll send it right back to somebody who's very excited to go next.
Asuma will excitedly fly to get an angle where it can actually see the remaining chainman. And she will fire a laser. She will hit with the laser. She'll do max damage. Not too shabby. Which brings us to the nostalgic Kira. There is a grappled,
Yay.
endangered chainman in front of you, while all the rest of them appear to be down.
Kira's gonna 5-foot step and hit it with a chainsaw. Let's use a different dice this time. That's a 17 plus a... this shaken thing is killing me. Plus a 20, so just a 37, Sam.
37 will hit.
Okay. That's a dirty 20. That's a 22, which I don't think does it. Right? 22 doesn't?
22 doesn't.
Does not.
Right.
Got, and how about a 25?
25 does do it.
Cool. That's 2 hits. Roll. 66 plus 50. Correct. It's a couple ones in there. 66 points of damage at the grappled guy.
Alright, well, it doesn't all go through. It is still enough between the 2 hits to knock down the grappled guy. So they are all now dead, in quotes, but their bodies are slowly knitting themselves back together.
Let's hit him with a
I
spoon.
was going to say, like, go full salad
Yeah,
fingers on him with the little miniature shovel. I thought you wrote, like, I had to spend 10 gold on this dumb thing to be a focus component for the spell. Miniature silver shovel worth 10 gold. So he'll take that out and just, like, I guess, poke him with the spade end of the shovel.
And each one, as Alwyn just kind of jabs them with the shovel, and that it seems to cut off whatever otherworldly force is making their bodies put themselves back together. And one by one, these evangelist Velstrax actually die, leaving the huts empty once more. And I'm going to bed.
Good night, Sam.
Good night,
Good
Sam
night.
Vangelis Vestrak.
Night, Sam.
Good night, Sam. No rules, just right.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Pot Against the Machine is property of Network Against the Machine LLC, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are property of Paizo Publishing. See their website for more details. Theme Against the Machine was written and performed by our own Zach. See the show notes for additional music and sound licensing. If you enjoyed the show, we encourage you to leave us a review.
Waveforms. Waveforms.
173 waveforms.
Waveforms.
It's me, Wave Formington.
So I don't feel as bad about doing it every day because I feel like I'm meeting a goal by doing it because the number goes up.
Number go up is helpful.
Number go up.
Number go up.
Like, there amazing things have been achieved by gamification. Like, I just got to hire an assistant today and we were driving somewhere and we were talking about how Waze is incredible compared to all other apps because they gamified providing real-time information about what's going on in traffic. I don't even use it with like the way that you can get points, but it is incredible. People will literally, like, your own car could explode and you're like, car's blowing up before you perish. Like, Wazers are just, it's amazing to get the points and the like little avatars and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big chunky hurt on this creature. You do become visible.
Understandable.
So you got that going for you, because you're invisible. Pinned? What is this? I'm clicking the wrong thing. Not pinned. And not invisible. And it's not your turn anymore.